welcome to London.
Welcome to the History Lord.
Hi.
You joined Chris and myself. We're here today outside Buckingham Palace, and we thought we'd do just a little chat about the palace behind us. I realised in the years we've been doing this channel, the first video we did, I was stood here telling you all about the tour of London, but I've never actually told you about the palace itself. So I thought I'd sort of redress that and we'd do about that. So
It's semi-famous.
it's semi-famous, isn't it? It's been there for a while. It's actually only been there since 1703.
1703.
And it was John Sheffield, who was the Duke of Buckingham, who built the first house there. Hence the name, Buckingham House, as it was, not Buckingham Palace. And he built it. I think it was a princely sum of £21,000 that he built his house for.
Yeah, £21,000. Imagine that now.
Imagine that, yeah. But that, if you do all the equations and all that, that's about 3 million in today's money. So still a bargain.
Still a bargain for this.
For this place. But he built his house here in the countryside. This was technically the countryside back then, and it was but close enough to St James's Palace to be of influence to Queen Anne. Move forward, it was 1761 that it was George III who purchased it and renamed it. What did he rename it? The Queen's House, wasn't it?
Queen's House.
The Queen's House. And this is where his Queen and his children lived. I think about 13 or 14 of his children were actually born in the old Queen's House. A prolific family. No television, nothing else to do. That's all I'm going to say about that one. But it was John Nash, who was the famous architect of the Georgian period, who actually redesigned Buckingham House and turned it into Buckingham Palace, and that was for the Prince Regent, who then became George IV. So you've got all the spiel about how many rooms are in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of rooms. There's 775 rooms.
Wow.
775. There's a swimming pool, isn't there?
Well, that was built by George VI for Princess Elizabeth and Princess Margaret.
Yes.
Back in 1937, I think it was. And I think if you look at the palace, it's there just on, as we're looking, it's on the right-hand side, just behind those columns there. Incidentally, if you do look at the side of the palace, that sandstone colour, that's the original colour of the palace. The actual palace we see today is a facade, if you like, of Portland stone, I think it is still. And that was put there and finalised in 1913 under George V. I might do another video about George V later on, so watch this space, shall we say, and we'll do that. Where was I going? Oh yes, the facade. It gives us that famous balcony that we've seen in that's it, the wave, the royal wave, followed by the royal flush. Or is that after the royal
the
wing?
78 toilets when they're all flushed at the same time. That's the royal flush.
That's 78 bathrooms, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
But there we are. There are lots of videos about Buckingham Palace all over the internet, and so I just thought I'd do a little one today. It's got its own post office, its own bank, its own doctor's surgery. There's an operating room in there as well, just in case. What else has it got? The largest private garden in London?
The largest private garden in London, and they've got, particularly around the back, there are a lot of flats or even little cottages, the grace and favour.
Oh yes, great. Yes.
Staff. Do you know how many staff? On average?
On average, it's about between 500 and 800, depending on the season.
Yeah. So the grace and favour is they don't pay their rent. They pay their utilities, but they pay their rent, and it's part of their job.
But you have some other strange jobs in there. So strange jobs in the past. You had the Royal Rat Catcher.
Yeah.
Because they're actually built on top of the old River Tyburn, which is now unfortunately a sewer. They've closed it over. It's a lost river of London. It's now used as a sewer. So they did have a rat infestation problem. They also had problems with security when Victoria moved in. She was the first one to move in back in 1837 when it became Buckingham Palace. And the front, as we see it now, was actually redesigned by, I think it was John Bloor who redesigned it and extended it when she had so many children.
Yeah.
So 700 rooms weren't enough for her, so they added another 75 or so at the front just for the children to play in. No, it wasn't, but there you go. So it's a huge place. If you want the real estate patter, which every tourist does, I'm afraid. So at the moment, if you wanted to rent Buckingham Palace, it would set you back about £2.5 million a month. that good for London?
It's not bad, actually.
It's near what I pay. So I'm moving out. No, so renter-wise, it's about £2.5 million a month. If you wanted to buy it, it is probably the most expensive property of its type in the world, and it was recently valued at £3.5 billion.
£3.5 billion.
I know. That's a lot of noughts, isn't it? That's a lot of noughts. I do believe over the years they've had a few offers to buy it.
Really?
Yes, and turn it into a hotel, but
that would be...
I believe there was one offer. I was told this when I was younger. I believe there was an offer made by a chap called Sir Billy Butlins, who was a holiday camp owner. If you're living in England, you're in Butlins holiday camps. But I think he made a tongue-in-cheek offer to buy it in cash in 1972, and he made the offer to the late Prince Philip, who gave him a two-word answer.
I think we know what that is.
Yes, I'm not going to tell you what the first word was, but the second was off. But there you go. But there you go. Anyway, I'm waffling again. Come down here. It's open from the end of July until early September. You can go and see the staterooms and the throne rooms, etc. So do come down here. Go and have a look on their website. The gardens are there as well. Always worth a visit. And hopefully, in a few years' time, when they're finished refurbishing it, it will be open to the public all year round. That's what we're hoping for.
When it is open, tickets do sell out.
Yes, so when it is open, tickets really do sell out quite quickly. So if you're lucky, see if you get any returns when you get here. Anyway, I'm waffling. If you want to see what Chris does, outside of standing next to me looking gorgeous, go to chrisjamesaboutLondon.com.
Christopher James.
Christopher James. See, I just know you.
You'll still find it with Chris James.
It's ChristopherJamesAroundLondon.com.
Out to London.
Oh. It's a new website. I don't do things like that.
www.ChristopherJamesAboutLondon.com.
There we are. I could do conjunctivitis.com, and that's a site for sore eyes. So
Come on.
I had to get one joke in today, didn't I? If you want to see what James does, go to Last Line Films, YouTube, TikTok, and his website. I'm hishlord.co.uk. There you go. Enough of that. There'll be some band playing in a minute, so we're going to listen to the band. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon. Take care.